Good morning, students. Today I am going to start the econometrics class. Econometrics for the BSc student. Actually, it was earlier it was for the BSc students only, but now it is a compulsory paper for all the students, BA as well as BSc. Now the point is what econometrics is. One of the most happening subject, one of the most important subject in the context of present day development and research activities. Econometrics in various socio-economic researches, in various developmental researches and various other fields of researches, we have wide applications of econometrics. Actually, without the econometric tools, without the econometric concepts, econometric perspectives, the derivation of conclusions from various research papers, from various surveys get very difficult. So, what econometrics is? The first one is definition of econometrics. So, econometrics is actually a subject which is juxtaposition of statistics, mathematics and economics. In other words, we use mathematical and statistical tools to analyze various economic issues, various economic problems, the various economic policy perspectives, the repercussions of various economic policy measures. All these things can be analyzed on the basis of econometric tools. So, it is a vast subject, of course. It is a vast subject, but to understand, to grasp the various branches, various scope, various things which econometrics discuss, we have to know the the basic concepts which actually formulate a econometric problem. So, as I have already said, it is a combination, it is a juxtaposition of economic statistics, mathematics and economics. Various mathematical concepts, various mathematical tools, differentiation, integration, then differential equation, difference equation, all these things have wide applications in econometrics. Various human behavior, consumer behavior, industrial behavior, and other various things, investment behavior, all these things can be analyzed with the help of the various mathematical concepts, the various mathematical instruments, and this is done by econometrics. Similarly, there are various statistical derivations, there are various inferences, there are various conclusions which you can draw from statistical surveys, from statistical studies, from statistical data. Now, analysis of this data, analysis of this survey will become fruitful only if we can draw correct conclusions from those data, from those surveys or from those studies, and that is facilitated by econometric problems, the various econometric methods. Obviously, econometrics has wide-scale applications in various fields of research, developmental studies, and various branches of policy making and other things. So I begin the basic things, and I will try to explain what are the basic things which encompass, which is the subject, which are the main concept, main branches of econometrics. Now, to develop econometrics, the first and foremost, we have to know what is the second one, what is two-variable regression model. Two-variable regression model. Now, What is a two-variable regression model? So you have to know the concept of regression to know about the two-variable regression model. So in regression, what we do, we want to derive the exact form of relationship between two variables. We want to derive the exact form of relationship. Remember this. So let us suppose the concerned variables are income and consumption. So we know that income influences consumption. Now, to what extent income influences consumption and what are the various responses of consumption? What are the various changes, various fluctuations in consumption in response to different types of changes in the income level? Those things can be analyzed with the help of the regression model, which will regress consumption on income. Consumption on income. That is how income influences consumption. So let us suppose that two variables are y and x. Let us suppose that two variables are x and y. Two variables are x and y. X is, let us suppose, consumption. X is consumption and y is income. So x is consumption and y is income. Now, we may be interested in deriving, we may be interested in finding the income consumption relationship of a particular locality, of a particular family household, that is, of a particular state, of a particular country, or so on. So, let us suppose we want to analyze the consumption behavior of the people of Tezpur. Consumption behavior of the people of Tezpur, how income influences consumption in the context of the population of Tezpur. Therefore, we cannot collect data from each and every household. It will be a quite arduous task. It will be difficult, and in fact, it will be a difficult task. It will be an unsurmountable problem. So, what we have to do? We shall rely upon sampling. We shall rely upon sampling. We shall draw sampling from the population of Tezpur. Let us suppose our sample size is 100. Our sample size, we have decided to keep the sample size fixed at 100. Now our next problem is how to construct the sample, how to make the sample. So let us suppose we rely upon stratified sampling. We rely upon stratified sampling. Stratified sampling means we shall divide Tezpur into, let us have 10 different stratas. There will be 10 different stratas of Tezpur. Let us suppose Kolibari, the town premises, the vicinity in the town premises, the Dolabari area. Then you have the Borjhargaon, Dekargaon area, you have Base area, Bihoguri, Tiniadi area, you have Misonsarani area. In this way, the entire Tezpur municipality is divided into 10 stratas. And from every strata, we draw 10 households. We select 10 households. Again, we can take the help of another sampling method. Might be random sampling, it may be judgment sampling, or anything else. So, what is the importance of sampling actually? Sampling generally throws a quite correct information about the population. As you have seen, in case of opinion polls, in the case of different state elections, in the parliamentary elections, many TV channels telecast opinion polls. Now those opinion polls actually they some opinion poll take the sample size to be 5,000, some opinion poll take the sample size to be 10,000, 12,000, etc., etc. And on the basis of that, they derive some conclusions. What is going to happen? They try to forecast the probable winners, the probable losers of the impending elections. And they are, most often, they are proved to be quite right. Sometimes they are wrong actually, of course, but most of them, 80% of the time, they almost hit the bullseye. So that is the point. Now, the 100 families have been selected on the basis of stratified sampling, and on the basis of those 100 families, so those 100 families, they will belong to different income groups. There will be some lower middle class, there will be some poor families, there will be some middle income group families, there will be some higher income group families, there will be some rich families. So there will be a perfect combination of all these various income groups. And on the basis of that sampling, we try to collect data about their consumption behavior, about their consumption pattern, how they have behaved with respect to their consumption spending in response to their income changes. Let us suppose X, there X1, X2, X3, X4, and in this way we shall have X100. Similarly, we shall have corresponding we shall have, so this is Y1, Y2, these are various income levels, Y3, Y4, and Y2. And we shall have the corresponding X3, X4, X100. 100 families are there. There are income levels and their corresponding consumption levels. And on the basis of this data, we shall construct what is known as the two variable regression model. And two variable regression model, it is written as y is equal to a plus bx. This is the two variable regression model. How consumption is influenced by income. Here y is known as the dependent variable and x is known as the independent variable. Now, as far as mathematical interpretation goes, this A is the intercept of the two variable model. What is intercept? Intercept means it is the value which the dependent variable takes when the value of the explanatory variable or independent variable is 0. So in this case, you see when x is 0, what is y? Y is equal to A. Y is equal to A. So in economic perspective, it is known as the autonomous consumption. Of course, it is an unrealistic concept. Actually, income level cannot be 0. Income level of no country, income level of no family is generally can be taken to be 0. Even beggars have some incomes. So let us suppose, and now B is in mathematics, B is nothing but the slope of the function, the slope of the line. And in economic perspective, B is the average relationship between y and x. The average, how a change in x influences the change in y. That will be shown by the slope coefficient. In mathematics, it is known as slope coefficient, that is B. And in economics, it is known as marginal propensity to consume, that is MPC. Let us use some numerical figures. I assume that we have found on the basis of the study of those 100 families, we have constructed the two variable regression model, and it has been found to be 780 plus 0.8x. So Again, coming back to the earlier explanation, what is 780? It is intercept of the consumption function. That is when income is 0, when x is 0, y is 780. Now what is 0.8? It is the MTC. 0.8 is nothing but MTC. In mathematical context, it is dy by, in mathematical context, it is dy by differentiation of y with respect to x. And in economic perspective, it is referred to as marginal propensity to consume. So 0.8, what is the implication? That when x increases by 1 unit, y will increase by 0.8. To be more appropriate, to be more accurate, if income increases by rupees 100, consumption will go up by rupees 80. If income increases by 1 lakh, consumption will increase by 80,000. This is the implication of the slope coefficient, that is marginal propensity to consume. So on the basis of the data, we use some formula, we use some equations to derive the values of 780 and 0.8. And once we derive the values, we formulate the regression equation, and we find a proper regression, two variable regression line. So from this particular regression line, we can forecast when income is 70,000, what is the most probable level of consumption? When income is 70,000, let us place 78,000 here, and we shall find out the most probable value of consumption. Most probable value of consumption. That is, so this is your relationship. Income is this, consumption will be this. Income is this, consumption will be this. Various levels of income we put here, and we find the corresponding values of consumption. But actually, economics is not so much, cannot be considered to be so much accurate. Yes, economics is considered to be a science, but their economics depends upon human behavior, and human behavior is never linear. Most of the time, human behavior is erratic, it is non-linear. So, such a direct two variable regression model cannot represent the human behavior, which always fluctuates. MPC always fluctuates. The regression equation will always fluctuate. If income is 10,000, today I shall consume 8,000. Tomorrow, if income is 10,000, I shall consume the entire amount of 10,000. In this way, it is never 100% science. Economics is never 100%. It is not 100% accurate. So, to incorporate that thing, to incorporate that non-linear behavior, to incorporate that non-symmetric relationship, we introduce what is known as, actually this is the disturbance term. What is known as the disturbance term. We are now slowly entering the periphery of econometrics. We are now slowly entering the actual periphery of econometrics. Once we introduce the disturbance term U. So once we use the disturbance term U, then the two variable regression model will be like this. This will be the regression model, and this will be a stochastic case, number 4 stochastic model with the inclusion of the disturbance term. What is the meaning of the disturbance term? What the disturbance term subsumes, that is another case. So you see here, x is, I have taken x to be consumption and y to be income. So the behavior, the relation what is the reasons behind the inclusion of the inclusion of the disturbance time? The point is that consumption is income is not the sole determinant of the consumption level of a family of a particular state or of a particular locality. Income is not the sole determinant. There are many other influences. There are many other influences. There are many other determinants. So all those influences are tried to be subsumed, are tried to be brought under the umbrella which is known as the disturbance time. So consumption, you see, consumption besides income, consumption is influenced by family size. It is influenced by the economic conditions prevailing in the country. It is influenced by the festivities during puja vacation, during puja season, during winter season. There is a huge upswing in the business activities. Why? Because consumption habits have gone like anything during festivities, during various festivals. So all these things are not covered by income. Those are not covered by what? So we include what is known as the disturbance time. So erratic human behavior, the non-linear things in the human behavior, all these things are included in income. The various explanatory variables, there are various explanatory variables which are not directly, which are not explicit in the model, are being subsumed in the disturbance term. That is the meaning of the disturbance term in economics. So this is in econometrics, therefore this was the two variable regression model. But the two variable model in econometrics this is the starting point of econometrics. This is the starting point of econometrics. The two variable regression model, two variable stochastic case, inclusion of the disturbance time. So this is for today. So I shall continue with the subsequent things, multi-variable regression model. What is violation of disturbance time, violation of OLS, what are OLS assumptions? These things I shall explain in the next day. Thank you, students.